And hello from day number one of the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois, 2025's edition. Beautiful weather here on the show grounds, and we are excited to be here with a new episode of AOA, Agriculture of America, with our friends at AGI in lot booth 1067 in the northwest corner of the grounds. Looking forward to a really busy day one and a great show here today for AOA. We're going to be learning about a lot of the new innovations from AGI. We're going to have some visitors from the Illinois Soybean Association as well. We're also going to talk with Matt Frostick from the National Corn Growers Association here in just a little bit. So we got a lot to get to on today's program. Let's get started and not waste any time. Joining us here first, he is AGI's Senior VP of North America Farm and Global Portables. Paul Brisebois is with us. Paul, it is great to talk with you. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Jesse. Thanks for having me on the show.
Obviously, again, beautiful weather, already some early foot traffic, which we like to see, and folks stopping in and talking about AGI. I know being SVP of North America Farm, you got your finger on the pulse of the ag equipment world, Paul. So let's talk about that. What have you been hearing from farmers and dealers ahead of the show? What is top of mind for them right now, Paul?
Yeah, I'd say top of mind throughout 2025 is really on commodity prices. So lower commodity prices have been a challenge. Higher interest rates, the high cost of inputs have all been a challenge. The real opportunities that we're seeing right now is what we're hearing is a record across the U.S., which is outstanding to hear. I know everybody's hoping for a really good harvest and also hoping that commodity prices have somewhat of a rebound because that's a big challenge for producers right now.
What are some of the biggest trends in grain storage and handling? Let's talk about that a little bit. I know you guys have had a ton of innovations over the last calendar year and really the last couple of years. What's kind of the latest trend right now, Paul?
I would say the latest trends on farm are really around labor utilization and automation. So anything that we can do from an innovative standpoint to reduce the need for labor, because labor is so difficult to come by on the farm, really helps growers. I would say the other thing is on automation, and whether that's automating our portable handling equipment or permanent material handling equipment, or automating bin management in terms of really understanding what you have in the bin, how to keep it at the right temperature, right moisture within that segment, and with our dryers and automated dryer control, remote control, everything that we can do to really drive efficiencies on the farm. And also, I would say, drive safety as a number one priority.
I know as well storage, of course, is such a big key, and that's at the heart of a lot of what AGI does. And also joining us for this segment, VP of Sales for Ripco, JD Syracuse is with us. And JD, it's good to talk with you. Thanks for being here with us at the show.
Jesse, thank you for having me on.
Tell us a little bit about what you do in Ripco and the farmers you serve, and then we can kind of get into the AGI Ripco partnership a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Our company is a third-generation family-owned company. We've been in business for 63 years. We service Southern Indiana, Illinois, and Kentucky. A lot of the guys that we deal with on a day-to-day basis are more of your mid to large farm customers. And to kind of go off of what Paul said a little bit, the biggest challenges that a lot of them are seeing is making things more efficient and timely on the farm, because help is a big problem for everybody.
Well, in AGI and Ripco, I know you guys have partnered, and one of the things you guys have partnered on, Paul, is Live to Farm Season 4. Tell us about that partnership a little bit.
Yeah, well, Ripco is a great partner for AGI. We have a long history with them prior to us acquiring Hutchinson. They're a distributor and partner and dealership of those products, and we're really fortunate to partner on the Live to Farm. We're doing a bin build on Kevin Kalb's farm, and it made a lot of sense to partner with JD and his team on this bin build as a really exciting project that will go on national TV.
I was going to say, that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to hear more about that in a second. Tell us about the bin, JD. What exactly are you building out? When's it going up? Give us some of those details.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're building a 54-foot, 18-ring AGI bin with roughly 130,000 bushel bin for Kevin. Concrete will be starting on that roughly next week. The bin comes in the following week, and we'll be starting construction of that project towards the third week or so in September.
And I should ask you, you put up a lot of structures. What are you hearing from farmers when it comes to storage and more as harvest nears? What's the word out there in farm country right now, JD?
Well, definitely storage is a huge part of any integral system to allow the farmer to be more timely. And a lot of them obviously take advantage of basis spreads when they have the ability to store most of their crop. And with things coming to head here pretty quick on harvest, you'll see a lot of guys that are being very aggressive on their marketing early.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see some guys that'll empty bins out and try and get rid of the early crop to store the later crop towards the end of the season.
Yeah. Is that some of the same you're hearing, Paul, as we enter harvest time?
Yeah, absolutely. JD hit it on the head. Ultimately, the best return on investment for farmers is to invest in storage, particularly in a down market with lower commodity prices. If you have the ability to store and market your grain at a future time, you'll be able to make more money. And we've seen ROIs on bin builds that usually can be done in 1 year, but probably like 2 to 3 max. So as growers are looking at lower commodity prices, if they have the ability to access cash to be able to build bins, the ROI is fantastic. And that's typically what we see.
Yeah. I've had some guys even ask, bring up the idea of this year because of their marketing guys have told them that storing soybeans for this year, it could be very beneficial on ROI. They're seeing a big carry in that.
Yeah.
Which is very unusual.
It's going to be an interesting fall and winter time, I think, to say the least. But a lot of conversations about storage and, again, a lot of the products that you guys have at AGI. Live to Farm Season 4, national TV this fall, right, guys?
Correct.
Yep.
That's right.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to seeing that and look forward to learning more down the road, too, about Ripco, JD. Thank you for joining us here on the show today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Paul as well. Thank you as always for the hospitality here with AGI and hanging out with us and telling us more about what you're hearing in farm country.
Thanks, Jesse. My pleasure.
We are with our friends at AGI here at the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois. You can also learn more at aggrowth.com. That is their website, aggrowth.com. Coming up here on the show, we're going to have more conversations about some of the new products that are being showcased by AGI. Also, coming up next, we're going to have a conversation with our friends at the National Corn Growers Association. Matt Frostick is one of the new officers for the National Corn Growers Association, and he's going to join us for a conversation about some of what they are hearing in farm country. That's coming up next on AOA, Agriculture of America. Back with more after this. And as we continue here on Agriculture of America, live from day number one of the 2025 Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois, Jesse Allen back with you. We are with our friends at AGI, lot 1067. We're going to hear more about some of their newest innovations in a little bit. But joining us now for a conversation, he is the incoming first vice president of the National Corn Growers Association, Matt Frostick from Michigan. Matt, it's good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Good. It's good to be here.
I was going to say, we were talking a little bit about the weather, and I mean, could we order up a better Farm Progress show, Matt?
Oh, wow. This is absolutely perfect. We've been here in the past, and obviously that 95-degree heat can take you down over the course of a day. So but with it being in the 70s, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a golf cart to get around, that can really kind of take you down. Well, hey, it's good to have you here. I know we got a lot of hot button issues right now in farm country, and
lots of things going on. Yes,
let's start with the conversation around high input costs and low commodity prices and tariffs and demand and trade, and it's all kind of rolled into one at this point. And I know NCGA, you have been reaching out to members of Congress and the administration talking about this. And I mean, what is the mood in farm country? What is the sense that NCGA is getting from producers now that we're kind of at a tipping point? It almost feels like, Matt.
Yeah, we're, a lot of conversations after the WASDE report, not great ones. And we're in that crisis mode in the industry with this record crop coming on. We've got lots of export going on, but we've got a big crop to move. And with the prices the way they are and the inputs the way they are, it's kind of a collision of a disaster at this point. Some of the that psychological effect of it. I had farmers calling me about summer fill prices, and that was just as tough to hear those conversations as the amount of corn we've got that we're going to have to process this fall. So it's a bit of a collision we're going to have to walk through. So yeah,
I have stopped short of calling this a farm crisis, but I wonder, do we have one brewing, I guess is where I'm at, Matt.
Yeah, that's our conversation right now as a board, is we're using that term because we have to be ahead of the industry as far as what's going on. So yeah, that's how we're treating it, because it's not only the lower prices, the high inputs. Are we going to be able to store this crop?
Yeah.
There's a lot of grain that's still sitting in bins that hasn't been moved from last year, and so you've got a lot of moving parts going on, and we're at the brunt of trying to figure some of these things out. Yeah.
So how do we find our way out of this? I think that's the big question. Is it just generating new demand? We chew through potentially a 180 something national yield, whatever it ends up being. I mean, is it more? Is it E15? Is it trade? Is it all of the above? I mean, how do we chew through all of this corn we're growing right now?
So all of the above approach is kind of what we're at, but we're also taking a focus. E15 is something that we were on the Hill this summer trying to push. We feel we're going to get it through. It's just we don't quite understand the process that it will, but at some point we feel that's going to get through the House and Congress and get passed, is our hope. And that would be just the rumor of that's going to help that market, but that's going to be a kind of a next year grind for the crop. New trade deals are important, but they're going to take time to develop. And so, but again, it's that vision that we can look to that will help those markets out. I think truly one of the things that would help immediately too is how can we lower these inputs? How can we get these inputs down to that's manageable? We're looking at input prices, costs that are built around a $7 corn structure, and we're trying to sell corn for $4.
Yeah.
So it's a real issue. We, Krista Swanson, our lead economist, has some great stats out there that show even with the prices the way they are, we're not going to bushel our way into a profit this year. We're looking at probably somewhere around $1 loss or $190 loss per acre on this crop. It's really hard to get the volume to get to a profit level when you're that far under. So
Yeah, it's a tough conversation, no matter how you slice it. My thought here is we're looking at input costs and trying to get a reset. How can an organization with the stature of the National Corn Growers Association, how can you guys work with various ag retailers and companies and others? How can you exert your influence and say, hey, listen, we understand business, but at the same time, you're not going to, if this keeps trending, you're not going to have farmers to sell to. So what can we do here? I mean, can something like that, can those conversations happen, Matt?
Yeah, whether they can or can't, they will, I think. And,
yeah.
And we have to be careful. Like we got to work together because we're such a small part of the population of the country. And so this industry has to work together as one. And so having conversations with those industry partners is important, and seeing where we can help them help. And maybe that's an answer in a trade situation, lowering some tariffs or having those type of conversations. Or it's regulation. There's a lot of regulations out there. I mean, we've had some conversations with some of the fertilizer companies that it is just really hard to do domestic production in this country because the regulations get in the way. So we're looking at those things. How can we help, move through get some common sense regulations, maybe cut some of that paperwork or cut the timing so that, some of these, like a potash mine can come on board, or a phosphates mine that's domestic can come on board and really help those situations, I think is important. So yeah, it's about having good relations before these crises happen. I think we've developed some of those, and then having those tough conversations throughout and working together and on that. Yeah.
Matt Frostick with the NCGA with us here. A couple minutes, Matt. We've been a little on the negative side here because we know the situation, but what's the positive? What is exciting you and the folks at NCGA right now, or what could we take solace in as we work through this down cycle in the farm economy?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the positive takeaway here, Matt?
So with the situation we're in, we're always looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's, when you're in these situations, it's easy. I feel like we have opportunities to talk to legislators to say, look, we need some answers. We've been kind of pushed to the side for the last 5 or 10 years to try and get new domestic growth. And now that we're in crisis mode, people are starting to listen. So it's an opportunity to push some of those demand structures through that we definitely need. And I think we have the ears on the Hill now that, hey, how can we help? So there's opportunities there. And same with trade. When this trade thing is, we're walking through it. It should have been done 5-10 years ago.
Sure.
In developing better trade with different countries. I think that's important that, we should have had them several years ago, but we're having them now, and it's creating those opportunities for long-term growth.
And I think a lot of exciting export markets, but even here at home, I know NCGA, you guys have to consider Corn Challenge, for instance, finding different new avenues.
Yeah.
Because, at the end of the day, our corn farmers, you guys are good at what you do.
Yeah.
We grow a lot of corn. We do it well. And so I know you guys are working to find new uses beyond the traditional avenues, right, Matt?
Yeah. So there's things like plastics that we, are developing. That industry is building and developing, and we're kind of got a foot in the door on some of that, and that's ever growing. And some of those new uses, like, the seed coatings that we're looking at with a corn-based product, or a delayed nitrogen product coating. So those, and they're environmentally friendly, they're carbon friendly, all those things kind of work together. So it's exciting to see those type of things happening. They may not all be great corn grinds, but they make the image of what we do better, and it kind of completes that circle of how we do things.
Yeah. How's the crop on the farm back home looking at Michigan as you get close to the finish line here, Matt, real quick?
Michigan, our corn crops struggle. Now, I'll say, our crop in Michigan we're not a market driver as far as how many acres we grow. The thumb area is I always say, it's kind of a section that was cut out of the Midwest, but the crop looks strong. I would say a strong average. We struggled in the spring with stress and cold stress, and so we don't have as big of ears, that type of thing. and stands were a little bit compromised. So that will show up. Disease pressure is showing up now too,
Yeah.
and I think that's going to level some of that top end off. But overall, I think it's a strong crop, and we're going to be okay in that area as long as we continue to take care of it.
Yeah. Well, we will wish you a safe and happy harvest season, and I know we'll be talking again real soon. Incoming first vice president for the National Corn Growers Association, Matt Frostick. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for letting me on. Yes.
You bet. We are at Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois with our friends at AGI in booth 1067. We'll be back to talk more AGI innovations and products right after this on AOA. And thanks for sticking with us here as we continue on AOA Today, Agriculture of America, live from day number 1 of the 2025 Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois. This is probably my most favorite show of the year, getting to see all the new ag tech, getting to talk with folks who are here visiting the show during the 3 days, just having those conversations. Selfishly taking a ride around the golf cart at 6 a.m. with coffee and just getting to kind of look at things, on my own too. It's always a lot of fun. And our friends at AGI, that's where we're doing the show from today. And they have a lot of cool things on their lot here this year. We're going to talk about some of those. Joining us now, AGI Director for Global Product Management and Engineering, Kent Woods. Kent, it's good to talk with you, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jesse. Pleasure to be here.
Well, 1067 is the booth here. Folks are visiting the Farm Progress Show. They're going to get a real treat. You guys have a lot of awesome pieces of tech and more that you've been developing and rolling out. And I know some here, it's a first look, a sneak peek. Give us some of that highlight to start. What is new at the show this year?
Yeah, definitely. On our portable side, we definitely looked, from last year's show to listen to what we heard from the market. So really focused on our voice of our customer, our voice of market, and what are the needs down in Illinois, Iowa, that area to what we've got. So what we've done is basically we're introducing 4 products here from our portable that are new to us and new to the marketplace. Mm-hmm. The first one would be our UCX4 diesel conveyor. Now, this is a very fuel efficient, top of the line, just works kind of unit. As far as capacity wise, you're 10,000 plus bushels an hour. It really allows the farmer, we all have diesel on our farm. We all have that. It gives you that one fuel source to have. Mm-hmm. And then the mobility of it. If you in an area that you can't get power, or you can't do that, you have this available unit that's mobile powered, diesel operated, really saves time, costs, effective unit.
Well, and having something diesel powered, I think about here in the upper Midwest or even up into Canada or whatever the case is. I mean, cold, winters, cold fall. So, is this cold start ready? Things like that. Talk about that aspect.
The one thing about AGI is being out of Canada. This thing has spent a lot of testing through our Canadian winter. So we're talking, minus 32 below in Fahrenheit, right? So this thing is foolproof, tested through that. And that's where we're striving with AGI, is really developing and testing on real farm applications to where we're going. So hot weather testing, cold weather testing, whatever it is to make it the best possible unit we can right now.
Now, I believe we got a couple different options here to talk about when it comes to energy sources with the portable side. So what's the next one? Let's talk about some more of these options.
Well, the next one we would have would be probably we're talking about is our 1839 top drive fuel loader, which is a electric driven top drive conveyor. It is our newest lineup, and as far as our top drive fuel loader units, it is a larger tube than what we traditionally do it. So it's at a 12 3/4 inch tube, has an 18-inch belt. Once again, it's really set up as the unloads on bins are starting to be that higher capacity, 9,000 bushels per hour of corn. This thing will do that, and it just works. That's the whole thing. The testing on it, through it, it's low profile to get under all your tightest spots as far as your unloads. It's ran with a 13.5 single phase motor, which is right available in most farmyards to plug right in and use, right? So it's a foolproof unit that we're doing that way. It's our new entry point into the next capacity level that we have for sure.
What about kind of a mid-market solution?
Yeah.
I believe that's the FX4, if I see this in my notes correctly, Ken.
Yeah, so if you look at a mid-market for us, we've always had our UCX 3 or 4 diesel or gas that's been there, but we've really, in the US market and some of the other areas, we needed to have that mid-market that also allowed to have that mover kit. So we developed our FX4 unit, and the same idea behind it is it's a gas over hydraulic. It is allowing it to run in all situations, but the biggest point of it and the things that we looked at is what we heard about, like which way does the hopper fold down, where is the controls to run it, like how do I get out, where am I bin gates or what are my unload gates that I'm operating? So we look at that, and it's got options to operate to whatever side you want. So it can be operated from the left side or it can be operated from the right side. It moves roughly around that 8,000 in a low angle works, or standard is basically at 7,000 bushels an hour in corn. So it does whatever we need to be successful in moving it, and it is our first offering in the mid market. Really excited about it. It's shown great up in Canada this year, and then we're moving it down here in the U.S., and we honestly think it's the one that is going to be set us up again. Success.
Kent Woods with AGI joining us. Now, I mentioned, I love to see all the new tech earlier, and I know that one other piece that we need to talk about, the Smart Auger prototype. Tell us more about this, Kent.
Yeah, so this is basically, when we start to look at it, we were looking at how do you get to the next sustainability, efficiency, what we're doing. So we looked at just doing an auger, but at that point it was like, I have to take it to the next level. I can't just do electrification of a unit. What do we do to set ourselves apart to make it viable and not only efficient for the market, but how do we make it safe as possible? So this is a smart auger. It's not electric auger. It will be a smart auger. It is been testing and running in corn situations, and now we're looking at moving it up to Canada to test in the cold weather, because obviously every time you talk about a battery powered, you're always worried about functionality in cold weather and stuff like that. But it has many features from a safety standpoint. So it's got a human detection field around it, and the whole idea with it is I don't have to actually be outside of my truck and to run this unit. I can sit inside my truck, use my phone app, and it's got camera displays and video displays that I can see that it's filling the units. Where do I have to do on, off, start, drive my truck forward to the next level, fill the next area of the truck, back it up, take off, the next guy's in line. So it's basically you set it up once for the day, and then it's a continuous stream of trucks. So it's a one-man operation if you only have one truck driver, or if you have 4 or 5 different guys driving truck for that day, they all run through it and it's just set up. Now, when you do that, you have to be worried about safety. And that's one of our main concerns at AGI is how do we make stuff safe and for the end user. So what you've done is we've added a human detection field around it. So if someone gets in a certain area of that hopper, it'll automatically shut down. So it's got that safety feature on it. Each one of those things, when we talk about the next thing is, we always talk about overhead lines and stuff like that when it comes to augers and whatever. But you can geo-map your whole yard with this one and set up not only your bin placements, but also your power lines and everything like that. And that auger will be set that it can't go within 7 feet of a line that stops that arcing thing. So it saves us from electrification. It saves us from a human detection field. And then as we move forward, like as we map each bin or each unload, you can start going here. My unloads are actually only 16 inches high. Well, I can set a programming within the auger to say, when I'm backing it up and I have one of my hired hands working it, and he's only got it at 18 inches, it'll stop before it gets to a certain point and tell me, no, you better lower it or I'm going to run into the unload. So it's all these neat features to make it the smart auger as we're moving forward on it. Real-time ticketing. So if you have an issue with it, you submit a ticket right on the actual video screen or on your phone, and you get real-time tech support and video support on it. So real neat innovation. I think honestly, it's, as we talk about it, is the initial platform to where we need to get to.
And I love to AGI, you mentioned it, everything you guys do, safety in mind and efficiency in mind, all these products is trying to make just everything run that much smoother around the farm and safe. I think all that together is really at the heart of what you guys do at AGI.
100%. That's where we're focusing on is how do we create efficiency so that everybody's happier and making more money on it, right? And ultimately that's our customers need to do that. So it's what you're hearing from the customers is where we have to take our product, and that's where we're really striving for at AGI right now.
All these portable products we talked about. All right, what's the details on when they're available for purchase, et cetera, et cetera? What's the details there, Ken?
The UCX4 is actually available right now. So that one is coming off our production line, the diesel units. So we're actually making those already, and that one is available to be shipped right now. The 1839, we're looking at an actual October 1st product or production launch. So October 1st, those will be available. And then the FX4 SPs are also available right now. So we're making those. They're available for sale. The Smart Auger, honestly, it's in that conceptual prototype stage, with the goal of being ready for 2026 to have it. So take it to the next level.
And I'm sure folks, they can talk to their dealer if they want to learn more. They could stop here at the show, maybe some pre-orders on the Smart Auger, potentially everything essentially under, on the books, right, Kent?
Exactly. So the Smart Auger, you can scan in to be one of the first off to have it for sure. We have our try it, buy it thing we're running right now, or stop in right now and talk to one of the team down here. So we have a lot of our engineers down here and our sales guys here to walk you through each product and hear about it. And we always want to hear the feedback and to discuss our product. We've got a team that's really passionate about what we're doing and where we're moving forward for.
Yeah, the Try It, Buy It program. Folks can learn more here at the show. We're about out of time, Kent, here in this segment, but really appreciate you joining us on the show, telling us more. A lot of exciting new options in the portable lineup from AGI. And again, folks, stop by the show here, and I know they can also go aggrowth.com.
They can go to aggrowth.com, and start learning about it too as well.
Fantastic. Kent Woods, AGI Director for Global Product Management Engineering. Good to talk with you here at the Farm Progress Show, sir. Thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Appreciate it, Jesse. Thank you very much for having me on.
You bet. We are with our friends at AGI again here today on AOA. Coming up next, AGI also proud to partner with the growers of the Illinois Soybean Association. We're going to talk with CEO John Lumpy and Chairman of the Board, Illinois grower Brian Sievers. They will join us for a conversation coming up next on AOA, Agriculture of America.
You want to?
Yep. I sure do.
Yep. We'll do it tomorrow. How about that?
Okay.
Today's kind of full.
Yeah, that's true.
What's that? It's it's a little shaky at the moment. Right now, we're gonna have to just cross our fingers here.
The soybean.
Brian, from your perspective, what are you looking forward to here at the show?
Looking forward to meeting with all of our farmers. Hope they come by our booth at 6:05, and want them to see what we're doing with their checkoff money that they're entrusting us to use as farmers on the farmer board, and we're all elected from our districts. It's a great way for them to see what all we're doing for them. You know, like John said, legislative, governmental, and agronomy.
Brian, tell us a little bit about your operation. You're chair of the Illinois Soybean Association. You're also a third-generation farmer. So what is your operation like? How are the crops looking in your district, et cetera, et cetera?
Okay. We farm in East Central Illinois, a little town called Potomac. I farm with my two sons and their families. Like I said, third generation, they're fourth, and the fifth is here now with grandkids, and that makes me real happy is to spend a lot of time with them. We raise soybeans and corn, row crop. We try to do all the things ourselves. When you look at our area this year, we had a great crop last year. I think we have potential to be almost as good as that. So we're very fortunate. We got some timely rains, and that makes all the difference for you. Mother Nature.
Yeah, very true. I'd love to ask you both about the power of partnerships. Obviously, we mentioned the partnership with AGI, and I think partnerships are crucial to agriculture. John, I mean, talk about the AGI partnership a little bit, why it's so important.
So I'm a big collaborator, and what I want to do is create win-win situations with our partners. AGI is a critical partner to us because what we can bring to them is that partnership, and we represent the 43,000 soybean farmers in the state. So we're the largest organization in Illinois, ag organization that represents soybean farmers only. And what we can do in terms of that partnership is not only from an educational standpoint, but also from a legislative partnership. And so I'm in for win-win situations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what life's about.
Your thoughts on that, Brian?
Yeah. What AGI and Illinois Soybean Association do together is very important. We got an end goal. We all have the same end goal. We want to get there. And, having a partner like that has been very beneficial to us and hopefully beneficial to them also.
And I think right now, with where things are in farm country and some of the concern we have folks do about the ag economy and more, that's one of the things on the minds, I think, of a lot of growers here ahead of harvest. But the power of partnerships can, the rising tide lifts all boats, all the different analogies. If we all kind of work together, John, I think that can help us really weather this storm right now in ag. Would you agree?
I would agree. There is always going to be some things, though, that not everyone will agree on.
Yeah.
And what we represent the soybean farmers and the soybean farmers' interests. 98% of the farmers in the state grow both corn and soy, but there are some issues that corn and soy will not always be able to align on.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? All we can do is agree to disagree and move on to the next one where we can partner, because partnerships are very important.
Yeah.
We partner a lot with Illinois Beef, Illinois Pork, Illinois Farm Bureau, but at the end of the day, we do represent the soybean farmers' interests.
Your thoughts on that, Brian?
Yep. So I guess an example, last week I was in DC.
Yep.
And it's all about partnership, when you go out there and visit the congressional people. That's one thing I didn't think I would do 5 years ago, join this organization. And here I am in a congressman or congresswoman's office talking about ag situations. And, they sometimes don't know a whole lot about agriculture. So having us go there and explain a little bit of our story to them helps bring it down to the level where we both can work together. And working together, like John said, is one of the most important things. Collaboration is important.
Absolutely. Final minute and change here. Final thoughts from both of you. What else is on your mind ahead of harvest, John?
Looking for a good, healthy, safe harvest. What we've seen is, from the crop reports, it's looking good. And what we want to make sure is that, the farmers do it right, do it safe. And we will start to see them again come meeting season when harvest is over.
Yep.
Brian?
Getting across the finish line. That's what the boys and I talk about a lot, is getting things ready, being prepared for harvest. And then whatever situation Mother Nature throws at us, we move on and get it done. So that's important.
Well, we wish everyone a safe and happy harvest season, because it is right on our doorsteps, right around the corner. And I know ilsoy.org, folks can go there, learn more about what you guys are working on at the Illinois Soybean Association. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yep. ilsoy.org for more. Really appreciate the time. John, Brian, thank you both for joining us here as we wrap things up from day one of the Farm Progress Show out of AOA. We'll look forward to talking to you both again down the road.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you,
Jesse.
Appreciate it.
Once again, John Lumpy, the CEO, and Brian, chairman of the board for the Illinois Soybean Association. And with that, we're out of time here from day one of the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois, with our friends at AGI and their lot 1067. Aggrowth.com for more. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow for day 2. We'll be with our friends at Kloss here from the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois. I'm Jesse Allen on AOA.